Two brothers, same parents, same house, same first job at 22. At 45, the first brother checks his investment account on the first of every month. Last month, it read $340,000. He did not do anything special to get there. He never picked a single stock. He never timed the market. He never earned an extraordinary salary. The second brother also checks his account every month. It reads $41,000. He has been saving diligently for 11 years. He has sacrificed. He has been disciplined. He has done everything the responsible version of financial advice told him to do. He is also being slowly destroyed by a mistake so quiet he has never once noticed it. The mistake is not that he saves. The mistake is that he never stopped. Their names are Adam and Brian, and the difference between $340,000 and $41,000 is not income, not intelligence, not discipline. It is one decision Brian keeps telling himself he will make later. Level 1. The first paycheck. Adam and Brian are both 22. First real jobs. Adam makes $38,000. Brian makes $40,000. Brian earns more. That fact will become completely irrelevant within 3 years. Both brothers do the same thing with their first 3 paychecks. They spend them. Rent, groceries, the things a first apartment requires. On the 4th paycheck, something changes. Brian opens a savings account, sets up a $200 automatic transfer every month into an account earning 0.5% interest. The same bank his parents used, the one that feels safe and familiar. He feels responsible. He is. Genuinely. Brian is ahead of most 22-year-olds, and he knows it. Adam does the same thing initially. Opens the savings account, sets up the $200 transfer, feels that same satisfaction. Then Adam reads something that stops him completely. One paragraph. Almost close the tab. It says this: a savings account protects your money. An index fund grows it. At 0.5%, $200 a month for 40 years becomes $105,000. At 7%, Becadium decalcin at the stock market's historical average after inflation over the last century. That same $200 a month becomes $524,000. Same money, same discipline, same 40 years, same $200. $105,000 versus $524,000. Adam opens a Roth IRA on his phone. It takes 22 minutes. He moves his $200 monthly transfer from the savings account into a total market index fund. He does not tell Brian. He does not fully understand everything he just did. He just understood the one thing that mattered. The vehicle matters as much as the discipline. Brian keeps his $200 going to the savings account. It feels safer there. The number goes up by exactly $200 every month plus a few cents. That reliability feels like security. It is not security. It is the illusion of security. And the difference between the illusion and the real thing will compound at 7% annually for the next 23 years into a gap that quietly defines both of their lives. The savings account is not the destination. It is the waiting room. And waiting at 0.5% while inflation runs at 3% means your money loses purchasing power every year while the balance goes up. It looks healthy. It is shrinking in real terms. Level 2. The first real difference. Adam and Brian are both 25. Both got raises. Adam makes $48,000. Brian makes $51,000. Brian still earns more. Brian's savings account has $7,400 in it. He is proud of this. He should be. Most people his age have nothing. When his friends talk about being broke, Brian quietly knows he is not one of them. Adam's Roth IRA has $8,100 in it. Same $200 a month, but the market returned 11% one year and 6% the next. The money worked while Adam did not. The gap is only $700, barely visible, but underneath the surface, something important is happening. Brian's $7,400 earns approximately $37 in interest this year. Adam's $8,100 earns approximately $567 in market returns. Adam earned $530 more than Brian this year without doing one additional thing. Both brothers increased their monthly contributions after the raises. Brian moves to $350 a month into savings. Responsible, disciplined. Adam moves to $350 into his Roth IRA and opens a brokerage account with an extra $100 a month. total $450 invested. Brian saves $350. Adam invests $450. Brian earns more money. Adam builds more wealth. That sentence is the entire lesson of this level. Earning more does not build wealth. Deploying what you earn into the right vehicle builds wealth. Brian's $350 a month in savings over the next 3 years at 0.5% produces $12,700. Adam's $450 a month invested at 7% over the same 3 years produces $18,200. Brian saved more carefully and ended up $5,500 behind because the vehicle matters as much as the habit. Discipline without direction is organized waiting. You can be the most responsible saver in your friend group and still be building almost nothing if the money never leaves the waiting room. Level 3. The argument. Adam and Brian are both 28. Brian has $24,000 in his savings account, 6 years of genuine sacrifice. He skipped trips, he cooked at home, he said no to things. He built $24,000 and he is proud of every dollar. Adam has $41,000 across his Roth, IRA, and brokerage account. At a family dinner, Brian brings it up, not aggressively, just honestly. He says the market is risky. He watched it drop 18% in 2022. People lost real money. His savings account never dropped a single dollar. He knows exactly what he has. He knows exactly what it will be next month. That certainty, Brian says, is worth something. Adam does not argue. He just shows Brian one number. In 2022, when the market dropped 18%, Adam's portfolio fell from $29,000 to $23,800. A real loss, $5,200 gone in 1 year. Brian's savings account never moved. Then Adam scrolls to the current balance, $41,000. The $5,200 came back completely by mid-2023. Then the portfolio grew past where it was before the drop. The temporary loss became a permanent gain by doing exactly one thing, not selling during the panic. Brian's money never dropped. It also never recovered to $41,000. It just moved $200 to the right every month. Then Adam says the thing Brian has never heard framed this way. Yes, the market drops, but time answers market risk. Nothing answers inflation risk. Brian's $24,000 is perfectly safe from market drops. It is not safe from the fact that $24,000 buys measurably less today than it did 6 years ago. Inflation ran at 3 to 4% annually. The savings account paid 0.5%. Brian's money never fell. It just quietly shrank in real terms every single year while looking perfectly stable on the screen. Brian drives home without saying much. He thinks about it for 3 weeks. Market risk is visible and temporary. Inflation risk is invisible and permanent. Most people protect their money from the thing they can see while it gets quietly eaten by the thing they cannot. Level 4. The wake-up call. Brian is 31. He gets married. On a Sunday afternoon, he and his wife sit down and calculate their number for the first time. 25 times their annual expenses. They spend $52,000 a year. Their number is $1.3 million. Brian has $31,000 in savings. His wife has $18,000 in savings and $9,000 in a 401k, combined $58,000. They are $1.242 million away. Brian calls Adam that evening. Not to argue this time, to listen. Adam walks him through 2 projections side by side. $58,000 in a savings account at 0.5% for 34 years becomes $69,000. $58,000 invested at 7% for 34 years becomes $607,000. Same money, same 34 years, zero additional sacrifice. $69,000 versus $607,000. Brian asks the question almost everyone asks at this point, but what if the market crashes right when I need the money? Adam gives the only honest answer. You do not put money you need in 3 years in the market. You put money you will not need for 10 or more years in the market. Your emergency fund lives in the savings account. That is its job. Your retirement money has a different job. You have been giving your retirement money the wrong job for 9 years. That reframe lands differently than anything Brian has heard before. Different money has different jobs. Brian has been treating all his money the same way. Conservatively, safely, protectively. without realizing that protecting retirement money from market drops also means protecting it from the only force that actually turns it into retirement. He opens a Roth IRA the next morning, moves $24,000 of his savings into a total market index fund, keeps $7,000 in savings as the emergency fund, sets up $600 a month automatic investment. 35 minutes. 9 years of the wrong vehicle corrected in 35 minutes on a Monday morning before work. He texts Adam one word, done. Adam texts back, 2, don't stop. Emergency fund in savings, retirement in index funds. These are not the same job. Most people give all their money the same conservative job and wonder why the balance never becomes wealth. Level 5, the system. Adam and Brian are both 34. Adam has been investing for 12 years. Portfolio at $198,000. He has never picked an individual stock. He contributes automatically on payday. He checks the balance monthly. Sometimes he forgets. The money does not need his attention to grow. Brian has been investing for 3 years. Portfolio at $47,000. Emergency fund at $7,000 in savings. Total financial picture $54,000. He is behind. But the trajectory changed completely 3 years ago, and he can feel it now in a way he could not at the beginning. Here is the projection that shows why the trajectory matters more than the current balance. Brian's $47,000 invested at 7% over the next 31 years with no additional contributions becomes $370,000. The $52,700 he would have had in savings earning 0.5% over the same 31 years becomes $61,000. The 3-year difference in vehicle produced a $309,000 difference at the finish line. Not from sacrifice, not from income, from where the money lives. Both brothers run the same simple system at 34. 3 accounts, 3 jobs. Savings account holding 3 to 6 months of expenses and nothing more. Roth IRA maxed annually for tax-free retirement growth. Brokerage account for everything beyond the Roth limit, invested in the same index funds. That is the complete architecture. 3 accounts. Clear jobs, automatic contributions on payday, nothing to decide monthly. Adam has run it for 12 years. Brian for 3. The gap between them is not strategy, not sophistication, not income. It is 9 years, 3 accounts, 3 jobs, set up once, automate, leave it alone. That is the entire system, level 6. What 23 years actually looks like. Adam and Brian are both 45. Adam's portfolio crossed $340,000 last month. He noticed it on the first of the month, made a note, made coffee, went to work. The money has stopped requiring his attention almost entirely. Brian's portfolio is at $112,000. Emergency fund $8,400. Total $120,400. The gap is $220,000. Not from income, not from discipline. From 9 years of the wrong vehicle and one Sunday afternoon calculation that finally pointed the money in the right direction. Here is where both brothers head into the final stretch. Adam. $340,000 invested, contributing $1,100 a month, at 7% over 20 more years, approximately $1.4 million at 65. Brian. $112,000 invested, contributing $900 a month, at 7% over 20 more years, approximately $650,000 at 65. $750,000 difference at the finish line. Built entirely from 9 years and one decision. Brian does the math one evening that he wishes he had done differently. If he had opened the Roth IRA at 22 alongside Adam, same $200 a month, same discipline, just the different vehicle. His portfolio today would be $338,000, essentially identical to Adam's $340,000. The entire gap, every dollar of the $228,000 difference between them, comes from 22 minutes on a phone at age 22 that Brian kept telling himself he would get to later. Not later than planned, not a year late, 9 years late. That is what later costs. Saving is the habit that stops you from falling. Investing is the decision that makes you rise. Brian learned to save at 22. That kept him stable when friends were drowning in debt. That made him responsible when everyone around him spent everything they earned. Saving was necessary. Saving was the foundation. It was just not the destination. The step from saving to investing is not complicated. It is not risky if you understand which money has which job. It does not require a financial advisor or a strategy that feels sophisticated enough to justify starting. It requires one Roth IRA, one index fund, one automatic transfer on payday, 22 minutes. Brian spent 9 years saying later. Later cost him $228,000. The best time to take the step was at 22. The second best time is right now.